the house of silent screams. Ethan Varner had always believed that a home was supposed to be the safest place in the world. But the moment he crossed the gate that evening, the air itself felt poisoned. The house was silent, unnaturally silent, yet he could sense something screaming beneath that silence. Something broken, something twisted. He unlocked the door slowly. The hinges squeaked as if even they were warning him to turn back. Inside, the living room lights were dim. A cup of coffee sat cold on the table. A faint smell of burning paper lingered in the air. His breath caught in his throat, another sign, another warning, another day he was too late. He called out softly, "Leah, kids." Silence. Then he heard it, a whimper, a shaky cry, a muffled sob that stabbed straight into his chest. He ran upstairs, skipping steps, heart racing. At the end of the dark corridor, he saw his son, Adam, sitting curled in the corner, arms wrapped tightly around his knees. Adam's face was swollen, tears mixing with dry blood on his lip. His small shoulders trembled as if even breathing hurt him. Ethan fell to his knees. "Adam, my boy, who did this? Tell me." Adam hesitated, fear paralyzing his voice, then pointed toward the master bedroom. Ethan froze. He already knew the answer. He had known for months. Known and stayed silent. Known and pretended everything was fine. His wife, Leah Varner, was not an ordinary woman. She was his personal nightmare wrapped in a beautiful face, a woman whose smile could charm the world, but whose rage could tear a soul apart. Her calmness was more terrifying than her anger, 'cause when she went quiet, she destroyed. He gently held Adam's face. "Did she hurt your sister too?" Adam nodded slowly. A storm rose inside Ethan, one he had kept locked for years. But tonight, the lock finally broke. He stood up, determination replacing fear. He pushed open the bedroom door. Leah sat in front of the mirror, brushing her long, dark hair, humming softly. Her reflection met his with a smile that twisted into something inhuman. "Oh, Ethan, you're home early." Her voice dripped with poison-sweet sarcasm. Ethan clenched his fists. "What did you do to the children?" She laughed, light, airy, cruel. "You're asking as if I'm a monster. I'm raising them. You should thank me." "They're terrified of you, Leah. They flinch when they hear your footsteps." "They're weak," she snapped, dropping the brush. "And weak children need strong discipline. If you ever stepped up as a father, maybe I wouldn't have to do everything myself." His jaw tightened. "You call this discipline? Adam can barely speak. Mia hides under the bed when she hears you coming. This is not motherhood. This is torture." Leah turned slowly, eyes sharp enough to cut. "You're exaggerating again. Always dramatic. Always the victim. That's why I don't respect you, Ethan. You act like you're powerless." He took a step forward. "For years, I stayed silent. Not anymore." She rose from the chair, walked closer, and whispered with a devilish smile, "And what exactly will you do, Ethan? You can't even protect yourself, let alone your children." Her words pierced deeper than any blade. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Ethan's eyes widened because he wasn't expecting anyone. Leah smirked, brushing past him. "Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. We're having a guest tonight." She opened the door. A man stood there, tall, well-dressed, smiling politely. Marcus Hale, someone Ethan recognized instantly. His wife's ex-lover, a ghost from the past, a shadow that had returned at the worst possible time. "Evening, Ethan," Marcus said casually. "Leah invited me. Thought we could talk, like adults." Leah leaned against Marcus, placing her hand on his shoulder in open challenge. The humiliation burned Ethan alive. His children bleeding in the rooms behind him, his wife taunting him, her lover standing in his doorway. A part of him snapped. Something inside Ethan, something long buried beneath fear and shame, finally rose to the surface. He smiled. A slow, cold, terrifying smile. "Welcome, Marcus," he said softly. "Come in." Leah looked surprised for the first time. Marcus hesitated. "Are you okay, Ethan?" "Oh, yes," Ethan whispered. "More than okay, because tonight, everything changes." He closed the door calmly, locked it, turned around, and stared at the two people who had torn his life apart. Leah suddenly felt uneasy. "What are you doing?" Ethan stepped closer, voice steady. "I've been afraid of both of you for too long, but not anymore. Tonight, I take my home back." Marcus scoffed. "You think you can—" But Ethan interrupted him sharply. "Shut up." His voice carried a power neither of them had ever heard from him before. Leah took a step back. "Ethan, what are you planning?" He smiled again. "You'll find out, but first, my children, you won't touch them again." Leah shifted into panic. Marcus froze. But Ethan had never been calmer in his life. The storm had begun, and no one in that house would ever be the same again. Ethan stood between Marcus and Leah like a shadow rising from years of buried agony. The house, once filled with the children's laughter, now throbbed with a darkness that had been quietly growing, waiting, boiling. He walked past them with a calm that terrified both of them. Upstairs, Adam and Mia waited, scared, silent, helpless. Ethan knelt before them, his voice softened. "Listen, tonight everything becomes better. Nothing is going to hurt you again. Do you understand?" Adam stared at his father with eyes that had forgotten how to trust. But when Ethan gently held his hand, the boy finally whispered, "Daddy, please don't leave us again." A dagger twisted in Ethan's heart. "Never," he breathed. "Never again." He hugged both children tightly and then walked them to the safe room, a hidden storage closet behind the wardrobe, something he had built months ago for emergencies he hoped would never come. "Stay here, no matter what you hear," Don't come out. I'll come back for you. The children nodded, trembling but trusting for the first time. Ethan closed the panel, and the man he used to be, broken, ashamed, silent, stayed locked behind that door. The man who walked out was someone else entirely. Marcus stood with his hands in his pockets, pretending confidence. The sweat dripped at his temple. Leah's face was pale now, all arrogance drained. "Ethan," she said slowly, "let's talk. You're upset. Fine. But hurting anyone won't fix." "Hurt?" Ethan repeated, stepping toward her. "No, Leah, you hurt. I protect." Marcus scoffed again to mask his fear. "Man, you're losing it. You think you can scare me with this silent act?" Ethan didn't even glance at him. Instead, he picked up the framed picture of their family from the shelf. A once perfect image shattered by secrets. He held it out toward Leah. This could have been real, but you burned it from the inside." Leah's jaw clenched. "You blame me for everything. Typical, you never saw your own failures. I raised those children. You were never enough." Ethan stepped dangerously close. "Enough for who? For you? For your ego? For your cruelty?" Leah's hands shook. Marcus finally spoke more firmly. "Back off, Ethan, or I swear I'll—" Ethan turned abruptly. "Marcus, you walked into my home thinking you were the stronger man, that you could replace me, that you could walk over my children, my marriage, my life." He leaned close, eyes cold. "But a man isn't measured by muscles or noise. He's measured by what he's willing to protect." Marcus swallowed hard. A bead of sweat rolled down his neck. Leah stepped forward, voice trembling now. "This is all a misunderstanding. We can work it out. We can—" Ethan laughed. A quiet, calm, terrifying laugh. "You had years to work it out. Instead, you turned my home into a battlefield where only you won and the children lost." He walked to the kitchen drawer and pulled out a small recorder. Leah's eyes widened instantly. "Where did you get that?" "You talk loudly on the phone," Ethan said. "I hear everything." He pressed play. Leah's own voice filled the room, cold, cruel, venomous. "These kids cry over everything. I'm sick of them. If Ethan wasn't such a coward, I'd ship him off somewhere. Or worse." Marcus froze as he heard Leah continue on recording. "Ethan is nothing. He'll do whatever I say. He's weak. Always has been." Leah lunged forward, trying to grab the recorder. "Turn that off." Ethan stepped back. "Truth hurts, doesn't it?" Marcus slowly backed away from Leah. You said you loved me, that Ethan was abusive. You lied to me too?" Leah turned red with rage. "Oh, shut up, Marcus. You were nothing but a distraction." That was the moment everything shifted. Marcus's face twisted with betrayal and humiliation. "You used me." "And you're surprised?" Ethan said coldly. "She used everyone. It's what she does." Leah screamed, shattering the silence. Stop twisting everything. I built this house. I kept this family alive. You destroyed it, Ethan whispered. Marcus moved too suddenly. He grabbed Ethan by the collar, pushed him against the wall. Don't make me hurt you, Marcus growled. Ethan didn't flinch. Go ahead, try. Marcus slammed him again. But Marcus wasn't expecting Ethan's resolve or his strength when fueled by 10 years of suppressed agony. Ethan countered with a swift, calculated move, pushing Marcus off and knocking him onto the table. The vase shattered. Marcus groaned. Leah screamed at Ethan, "Stop, stop it." But Ethan wasn't even looking at her. He stood over Marcus, voice steady. Get out of my house and never come near my children again. Marcus wiped blood from his lip. You're insane. I'm calling the police. You should, Ethan said, because I'm done hiding the truth. He threw the recorder at Marcus's chest. That's your future. Live with it. Marcus staggered to his feet, humiliated and furious, but also terrified. He ran out of the house. Ethan closed the door quietly behind him. Leah backed away until her spine hit the wall. Ethan, we can fix this, I promise. I'll change. I'll be better. Ethan stepped closer. No, you won't change. Because cruelty is not a mistake, it's a choice. And you chose it every day. She trembled. Are you going to hit me? Ethan looked at her with disappointment deeper than any hate. No, Leah, I'm not you. Tears filled her eyes, not regret, but fear. You're taking the children, she whispered. Yes, Ethan said, turning away. They deserve a life without nightmares. Her voice broke. I'll tell the court you abused me. Ethan turned sharply. You never feared me. You feared losing control. He walked to the safe room, opened it, and the children ran into his arms. Adam asked quietly, Are we leaving? Ethan nodded. Yes, right now. Leah screamed, Ethan, you can't take them. Ethan turned one last time. Watch me. Ethan picked up Mia and held Adam's hand tightly. The three of them walked past Leah, a woman who had ruled that house with fear for years now, sobbing on the floor, powerless. Outside, the night was cold, but Ethan felt warm for the first time in years. He put the kids in the car. Adam looked up. Daddy, are we safe now? Ethan touched his cheek gently. Yes, son, from now on, I promise no one will ever hurt you again. He drove away, leaving the house of silent screams behind, leaving the darkness behind, leaving the man he once was behind. And for the first time, hope followed him home. What you learn from this story? Write in comments and like and subscribe our channel for more interesting stories.